You're the 19 lessons I learned sending close to 1,000 emails I wish I knew before sending my first one. 1. I was scared of being ignored. When I started emailing consistently, I had 10 members on my email list. That's it. And somehow sending emails to 10 people terrified me. Like I was jumping off a stage to a crowd. Hopefully they would catch me, but they just step away and I just faceplant. And that's how it felt. Like silence means failure and being ignored would prove I'm not worth listening to. But here's the truth. Most people don't see your emails as grand performances. For them, it's just another message in their inbox, and if they're not opening it, it doesn't mean they're mad. They're probably just distracted, probably they're busy, or just dealing with like life stuff. And let's say that's the case, no one responding to your emails, you have zero open rates. Nobody knows. The worst case scenario is you just send something, no one opens, nobody knows, you just move on. No big moment, just the next rep. Two, I was afraid people will unsubscribe. Early on, every time someone unsubscribed, it actually felt like someone hitting me in the gut. I took it really personally. But then, one of my first clients, the one that used to read all my emails every day for weeks and months, sent me a message. She sent a long message, something along the lines of, "Hey, I love your stuff, but I actually need to focus right now. Your email is just pulling away too much time and I feel obligated to read every one of them. I'm unsubscribing so I can get my head clear." And that flipped everything for me. She didn't hate my emails. She actually liked them so much, she needed space from them. Through that, I started seeing unsubscribers as something different. It's not a rejection, it's just someone takes care of their time and attention. So if someone unsubscribes, it's completely fine. And honestly, it's probably better for you. You're not only not distracting them and actually helping them by unsubscribing, you're keeping your list clean. Fewer unengaged people means more deliverability, means more people get to see your emails, means better results. 3. I was worried I sound dumb. English is not my first language, and sometimes expressing my thoughts could be really hard. And we should 100% not mention my grammar skills. So, awkward writing and making grammar mistakes actually scared me. And later, I find out that that's what made me unique. That's how I speak on camera, that's how you know how I talk. And when you read my emails, it just sounds exactly like I wrote them. So you feel the authenticity through written words when you don't even see me. And being polished really slowed me down, which we'll talk in a second. And since learning that, I allowed myself to be more authentic and flawed. 4. I thought I needed to be perfect before sending emails. I used to pay for 3 different softwares to fix what I wrote. 1. To change the words and phrasing of what I wrote. 2. To fix grammar mistakes. And 3. To improve the flow and readability of the email. Once again, it not only made my emails sound like someone else wrote them, it took lots of time and costed way more than I should have spent on it in the first place. 5. I kept comparing myself to better writers. When I started out, I used to follow lots of email marketers and just see their stuff. And obviously, they were way better than me at writing, at expressing, at finding ideas, at being creative within the emails. And I felt like I wanted to be like them. So I started taking lots of inspiration and just sometimes copy entire emails. I mean, not entire emails, just like changing few stuff but still being more like them rather than me. And then obviously seeing them performing way better just demotivated me. So it was not really so cool. But then I learned that the people who are joining for your list are joining actually for you. They care about you, they want to hear more from you. And if that was not the case, they would probably find the other marketers and just opted into their list. And the reason they joined your list is because you have the keys to their solution and they like your stuff. So just give them more of it. Be yourself and just write as it is. You'll get better as you write. 6. I assumed silence means failure rather than disinterest. Sometimes you send in emails that feels great. You're like, that's awesome. It's good. The offer, the writing, the call to action, all on the spot, and everything is great. But it's not performing. You're not getting any sales, you're not getting any clicks, and it just flops. So you assume that it means it was a failure and nobody cares about it, or maybe nobody wants your offers or your stuff. And actually, when your list is ignoring you or not clicking or not buying, it means they're probably not interested in the messaging, in the positioning of the offer, rather than in you or what you do. So start by changing the messaging and the positioning of your words. Draw different stories, give different examples, different angles to it, show different problems, talk about different desires. And if still nothing works, change the wrap of your offer. Keep trying different angles until something sticks. 7. I thought people don't actually want to hear from me. There was a point where I was sending emails and it literally felt like I'm sending them to a void. I truly believe that people did not care anymore. And to overcome it, I sent an email with this subject line. Hey, first name, I want you to unsubscribe. In it, I said that I hate to add more to their plates, and I asked them to unsubscribe if they're feeling they're not getting the value I promised. Then I just reminded why the emails exist and what I shared and what I'm planning to share. Then I just gave them a bold unsubscribe link and left the door open to minimize pressure on their side. And the results were only a few people unsubscribed, but the open rates and click rates went up in the next emails. Looking back at it, I had some balls, but do I recommend it? I'm not sure. It was an email I sent at a low point, feeling nobody cared about me nor the emails. It took me a lot though, and I wish to pass you the lesson without the scar. Only send it if my words right now are not really helping you. 8. I was focused on outcomes, open and clicks, rather than consistency. Although, in order to improve, you must track your numbers, in this case, when you're just starting out, I would not recommend it. All you need right now is just to get the reps in. And only when writing the emails becomes a habit, then you start tracking numbers. And obviously, you can do both, but just don't let the numbers impact your habits. Because it might be really painful to see super low numbers when you're just starting out. The habit is not established, you're not that good, and you know that you put lots of work and effort to make it work. So, seeing low numbers can really discourage you. So I'm not really recommending doing that in this stage. 9. I believe I suck at copywriting. It is not the best frame because I still believe I am very bad at copywriting. But when I shifted my attention from copywriting to storytelling, it was way easier for me to sit down and actually write emails. Because to be good at copywriting, you must know all of these persuasion techniques, how to write smoothly, how to make it flow good, and how to, I don't know, just make it sound like cool and worth the while. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It's way easier just to sit down and write stories that you've experienced and you tell other people and other people who relates to them. There's just way more emotion involved and so much easier to relate. A mediocre story beats mediocre copywriting every single time. And it's way much easier to get a mediocre story rather than mediocre copy. And if you're looking to get better at storytelling, if you go to my Skool group, you click on the inbox engine, and the second video of the second module, I talk about storytelling in depth. And I give you the 6-step potato framework to help you write better stories in your emails. 10. I felt awkward selling to my audience. I break it down into two parts, emotional and practical. Emotional is because I was not really sure my offer and product is really good and I was just worried to offer it to other people, meaning I had low conviction. And when you have low conviction, it's really hard to sell. But once I improved the product and added guarantees, it was way easier to sell. And practically, you do it by actually delivering value before you make the ask. When you give value and you teach something in the email, the ask comes naturally. Because now it's the recipient's choice to get it. And if they're not leaving your email empty handed. 11. I didn't want it to sound pushy and salesy. It just felt weird to send emails every day and every day asking for people to buy my offers. So at first, I did the mistake of not including any call to actions at all. I guess what my members learned, oh, it's an email from Dennis, I shouldn't click anything. But when I did started adding call to actions, nobody clicked. What a surprise. So as a rule of thumb, always include a call to action, always include something to click on. But let's go practical about it and see what you can do to stop feeling salesy. Start by making the ask in the call to action, not related to the email. Just a PS of, hey, if you want X, then Y. Then instead of just selling, just giving, hey, that's the price, go and buy, and leaving a link to a checkout, leave links to your sales pages, VSLs, more info pages, and your content pieces. Then slowly start by sliding the offers into the emails themselves until it feels like a second nature. Over time, it will start including them in the first line, in the middle of the email, maybe multiple call to action, and you'll see that it's fine. Well, I've convinced myself I have nothing interesting to say. We talked about stories before, and at some point I felt like the stories I'm about to tell are not interesting, nobody cares about them. And later I know that the best stories are the most relatable stories. And the most relatable stories are the most simpler. And the simpler, the better. Judge for yourself. If I tell you I was a front row in a concert of my favorite artist and in the end I got a selfie with them, you'll feel less emotional connection to a story where I forgot the milk outside the fridge for a day, and the day after I made myself coffee, it felt like crap. Although both are 100% real. And the reason that happens is not because the story is measured by how cool they are, it's they measured by how relatable they are. Because probably most of you watching will not experience what I experienced. They will not be front row on a concert with their favorite actor. But most of you probably forgot the milk outside the fridge and the next day they said awful. So I started writing more interesting thoughts, more real life stories, and things that I actually experienced that day. Unless you're scrolling all day long, there's at least one interesting thing that's happening. So talk about it. 13. I was embarrassed about not being consistent before. This one is a big one for me because I struggled with it multiple times, and considering what I preach, it was even harder. And for this one, there is not really any tips or tricks. You just have to bite the bullet. So if that's the case for you after watching this video, pull out your docs and write an email. Reintroduce yourself to the people who forgot about you and leave the door open to unsubscribe. What can really help is just publicly commit to a sending schedule and let them hold you accountable. 14. I've tried to sound like a marketer rather than myself. One of the biggest realization I had is that personal content that is authentic is way better than just marketing garbage. It worked well a few years ago, but right now the bar of starting a business and marketing it is so low. The old marketer style became so much saturated and just boring. Everyone's doing it and it just feels like the baseline of ChatGPT. If you go to ChatGPT, you ask for an email to promote your offer, it would probably be the old marketer style. 15. I didn't know what to write about next. We cannot plan and create at the same time, and sitting in front of a monitor, seeing the blinking cursor, knowing that I have to get an email out in the next few minutes could have just drive me crazy. So to fix that, I dedicated 2 hours at the start of the month to plan the content ahead of time. So when every time I get to sit and write an email, I already know what it will be about and what will be the CTA. So I just sit and write it. 16, I was overcomplicating the content of the email. I tried to write longer copy to throw in some complex metaphors and add more clickable call to actions throughout, and just simply overcomplicating the content of the email. But is it really bad to overcomplicate the email? Probably not. So what is the problem? These are very sensitive variable for someone who are just starting out. And I hear it so many times. Every time people complain, oh, longer emails are not that good. But it's not right. That's not the case. The case is just you are not good enough to write long copy. If you're good and you can hold the attention of your reader for long enough time, then you can write longer emails. But if it's not the case, stick to shorter emails, to simpler call to actions without many complex metaphor, because when there is confusion, there is no clarity, there is no clicks. Stick to simplicity before you're good enough to play and test the variables. 17, I believed every email has to teach something big. Value doesn't always have to be served as a lesson that could be implemented immediately after the opponent got you get results. Your thoughts, your reflections, and the stories you tell your readers are valuable too. Because if you're having them and you're experiencing them, probably your members thinks about it too. If they do, that's amazing. They get to hear your reflection and your side to it. And even if they not, bam, you have even more value thought about initially. You can't really get in their heads without sending the emails and knowing exactly what they want to engage with and what they want to receive. So send the emails, get a feedback, and you'll see for yourself that value is not just actionable things that they can do now and everything will change for them. 18, I believed every email has to teach something new. For a long while, I thought every email has to deliver something new, fresh idea, a new lesson, a cool concept, whatever. Because otherwise, what is the point of sending emails? Then I heard one of my favorite reframes from Ramosi. We need to be reminded more than we need to be thought. And that changed everything. Because the truth is, most of the peoples will not only not remember your last email, they won't even remember you the next time you send it. So if you've said something powerful before, say it again. If the message was good, it will end the second, the third, the fifth, and whatever time. Repetition doesn't make it boring, make it stick. 19, I had no strategy. At first, I was praying and praying, sending email after email without any plan, strategy, or any promotion schedule, just getting them out. And yeah, it is better to do that rather than not sending emails at all. But still, if you're sending emails, at least have a plan in the back of your head. Because when you have something to reference and a little strategy, it would be way easier to follow through. And the easiest and simple one is sending 21 emails with different stories, different angles, finding out which one performed the best, and out of these, building your sales campaign based on what your audience already interested in, on what they clicked and on what they bought. And in the next video, I'll show you exactly how you can do it, how you can go from never sending an email before to running your first sales campaign in just 30 days, following the activate, discover, and cash in strategy. So go and watch it right now.